Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads and sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft when on my couch I lie, in waken or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils.
Good evening, everybody. Today we are going to deal with a fantastic poem, Daffodil. You all know that Daffodil is written by the greatest English poet, William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth was born in the year 1770 and died in the year 1850. He is regarded as one of the greatest, all-time great nature poet of England as well as English literature. He was also honored as a poet laureate of England from 1843 till his death, 1850. And he considered nature as his beloved. And nature is a great friend, philosopher, guide for William Wordsworth. Once he told that nature never did betray those who loves her. And he considered nature as a healer, which can heal all the problems of human life. And we know that nature is a great abode for human being, and he is also regarded as a great devotee to nature. And you can get the effect of nature, the element of nature in all the poetry of William Wordsworth. And this is a beautiful poem which is rich in the figure of speech, and I will discuss you what is figure of speech. And you know that ornament are the thing which enhance the beauty. And here in the poem, the poets, they use ornament for the glorification, for the enhancement of beauty of the poem. And here you will get near about 6 to 7 figure of speeches in this poem. And this poem is a very beautiful poem which is written in a very simple manner, simple word. Okay, and this is a poet's traveling account when he was filled with, when his heart is filled with pain, sorrow and suffering. That time he was wandering alone among a nature. That time he saw a beautiful scenery of nature. While moving, while wandering in nature, he got immense pleasure by the effect of beauty, and his loneliness, his pensive mood was converted with happiness, with a blissful moment. As you know that the poem begins with a figure of speech, that is simile. First of all, I would like to tell you what is simile. Simile is a figure of speech in which we compare two dissimilar objects. With the help of as, like, and so. It is a figure of speech in which we can compare two dissimilar objects with the help of as, like, or so. First of all, you see that the first line of the poem, I wander lonely as a cloud. Cloud. Here, the poet compare himself. The poet compare his lonely state with the lonely state of cloud. In the first line, I represent the poet himself, who was wandering alone. Why he was wandering alone? Because his heart is filled with pain, suffering, sorrow. What is his sorrow? His sorrow is his background. Okay, once he loved a girl who left him ruined. That's why he has great pain in his heart. And he always remain isolated. He lead a life of isolation. And that's why he was wandering alone among the valleys. Suddenly, he compared his lonely state with the lonely state of cloud. As the patches of cloud, they are moving aimlessly in the very sky. Likewise, he said that I'm moving aimlessly in the valleys. And all of a sudden, he saw a crowd, a host, a group of flowers, beautiful yellow flowers. And likewise, you all know that there is a 4th stanza in this poem. Okay, and all the stanza has the clear-cut meaning. All the stanza has very simple meaning. That at the beginning you will get that poet's heart is loaded with the pain, and at last you will get that poet is completely revived from the pain. And the poem is like that. I wander lonely as a cloud that floats high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. I wander lonely as a cloud. That very first line is an example of simile. And here he compared his state with the state of cloud. The clouds which are floating high over valleys and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodil. While wandering alone, his eye falls on a group, his eye falls on a host. And when he inspected that group minutely, he get that group is none other than the group of a beautiful yellowish color flower, whom he compare with the color of gold, a golden daffodil. This line is also loaded with another figure of speech, that is metaphor. What is metaphor? Metaphor is a figure of speech in which we compare two dissimilar objects without the help of as, like, and so. First simile with the help of as, like, and so, and metaphor is without the help of as, like, and so. Okay, here in this particular line, the poet compare the color of the daffodil with the color of the gold. And here there is a no linking device like as, like, and so. That's why it is considered as metaphor. And where he found the flowers? Beside the lake, beneath the trees. What they are doing? They are fluttering and they are dancing. They are moving They are moving with the help of cold wind, that is breeze. And this line, the last line of the first stanza, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, it is also an example of another figure of speech, that is alliteration as well as personification. This line is an example of two figure of speeches. First is alliteration. What is alliteration? Alliteration is a term describe a literary device, which is a series of words having same consonant sound, or we can say that a repetition of sound. That means fluttering, dancing, fluttering and dancing. Or we can say that, easily we can say that in a sentence we get the musical sound from the words, or the repetition of sound is known as alliteration. And this line, fluttering and dancing, indicates that there is a presence of alliteration. Another example of that line is personification. What is personification? Personification is a figure of speech in which a non-human subject is given human character. That means here, the flowers, they enjoy the humanly character as dance, fluttering and dancing. Flowers are dancing. How they are dancing? They are dancing with the help of cold wind. Here they enjoy the human quality, that is dance. And we can say that this line is the multiple example of two figure of speeches. One is alliteration, second one is personification. Next we come to the second stanza, that continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle in the Milky Way, they stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Continuous as the stars that shine. Who shine like the stars? The daffodils. Here, in the second stanza, the first line of the second stanza is also loaded with a figure of speech, that is simile. Continuous as the stars. Here, the poet compares the beautiful flowers with the twinkling stars of the Milky Way. Why he compare? As the flowers, they are blooming, they are blossoming on the surface of earth. They are like the twinkling stars of the Milky Way. That means poet is completely amused by the beauty of the nature, that is flower, that is yellowish flower. That's why he is bound to compare that blooming flower, that blossoming flower, with the glittering, with the shining stars of the Milky Way. Milky Way, we can say that galaxy, जोटा आम आकाश गंगा बोली कहू. ओके, आकाश गंगा रे जो मिंजी मिंजी ही तारा मानक सहित कवि कंपेयर करि बसिले काहाकू? डैफोडिल मानकर चमक को. And in the other hand, we can say that as the stars are shining in the Milky Way, as the stars are shining in the galaxy or in the sky, likewise the daffodils are shining, they are blossoming, they are blooming on the surface of the earth. They stretch in never-ending line. In the first stanza, the poet found a daffodil beside the lake beneath the trees. In here, poet says that they stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. The daffodils are stretching in never-ending line. Why he said that stretching in never-ending line? Because he could not find the end of the belt of daffodil, as the vision of human being is limited. Being a human, the poet could not see the end of the belt of daffodil. That's why he said that they stretch in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. While narrating the stretch in never-ending line, in this line, the poet uses another figure of speech that is called hyperbole. What is hyperbole? A figure of speech that uses incredible exaggeration or overstatement for effects. Overstatement. That means, जोटा को आमे कहू अतिरंजित करी कहिबा अतिरंजितरु आहुरी चिरा अतिरंजित करिबाकू hyperbole बोली कहा जाए. That they are like, I can say that I have million things to do today. A man can't do a million things in a day. कथा छोड़ारे आमे कहू मोर आजि लक्षे काम अछि करिबा पाई. So that statement is regarded as hyperbole. More than exaggeration, more than overstatement for an effect. कथा कहिबार जो छड़ारे आमे कहू ताकू ही कहा जाए hyperbole. The stretch in never ending line. Daffodil जो लंबी छंती हृदय कूଳରେ ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଅନ୍ତ ତ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଥିବ କୋଉଠି ନା କୋଉଠି ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ, କିନ୍ତୁ କବିଙ୍କର जो ଦୃଷ୍ଟି ଶକ୍ତିଟା ଥିଲା ସେଟା ଲିମିଟେଡ୍ ଥିଲା. ସେଥିପାଇଁ କବି କହିଲେ the stretch in never ending line along the margin of a bay. Margin here refers to the shore of the lake. 10,000 saw I at a glance. 10,000 saw I at a glance. A glance means गोटिए चाहणी. glance कहा जाए हठात गोटे नजर पड़ी कि हटी जेबा को glance बोली कहा जाए. 10,000 I saw at a glance. एठी भी कवि गोटे कथा छड़ारे कहिदेले गोटिए चाहणी रे मु 10,000 डैफोडिल को देखिदेली. It is impossible for a human being to count 10,000 things in a glance. But he exaggerates that. Here the poet uses overstatement, exaggeration. जोटा का मेको अतिरंजित करिकी कहिबा. तो कवि that means here 10,000 not only the particular number of 10,000 flowers. Here 10,000 refers to the large group of flowers. They are present beside the lake or along the margin of a lake. 10,000 I saw at a glance. This line is an example of exaggeration. What they are doing? They are tossing their head in sprightly dance. Tossing means colliding their head. In sprightly dance, sprightly means lively. जीवंत भावरे सेमाने नृत्य करुछन्ति. कवि कहउछन्ति सते जेमिति डैफोडिल माने बहुत आनंद रे अछन्ति, बहुत खुशी रे अछन्ति. सेमानकर खुशी रो कोनोसी सीमा नाही. सेमाने खुशी रे एभड़िया डांस करछन्ति सते जेमिति निजर मुंडो को मुंडरे बाडुछन्ति. Okay, here tossing their head in sprightly dance. This line is an example of personification. Head. Non-human being enjoys the human quality. I have told you before. And this line is an example of personification. Okay, next come to the third stanza. The waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. The waves beside them here, them refers to daffodil. The waves beside them dance. In the last line of the first stanza, you get that the flowers, they are dancing. Here, another dancer we get. That is the waves of the lake. That means in this poem, the poet narrates, the poet canvasses two dancers. One is daffodil. Another one is what? Waves. Or we can say that the water of the lake, they are also in a dancing mood. In other hand, we can say that poet gets the jolly mood, joyful state of the nature. And as we know that poet was wandering alone in a pensive mood. From the very first line, the poet confesses his own state that he is in a search of joy. He is in a search of mental peace. So here, when he found that the nature, they are in a jolly mood, he was mesmerized. He was very happy by enjoying, by seeing the state, the condition of the movement of the nature. They all are dancing except the poet. Why? Because poet is in a pensive mood. Because poet is a sufferer in his life. If you study the background of the William Wordsworth, then you will get that William Wordsworth is a sufferer in his life. He experiences lots of pain, suffering, sorrow in his life. Okay, that's why he remained always in search of happiness. Happiness is a great wealth for William Wordsworth. The waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. Glee means happiness. Edi kavi kହୁଛନ୍ତି daffodil mane dance କରୁଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନଙ୍କର କୂଳରେ ହ୍ରଦର ଢେଉ ବି ଅଛି. That means ହ୍ରଦର ଜଳ ବି ସେମାନେ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କରୁଛନ୍ତି. ବଟ୍ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଦି ଜଣ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସର ମାନଙ୍କ ମଧ୍ୟରେ ସବୁଠୁ ଆକ୍ଟିଭ, ସବୁଠୁ ଲିଭଲି, ସବୁଠୁ ଜୀବନ୍ତ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ ହଉଛି କାହାର? ଡାଫୋଡିଲର. Because they are beautiful. Here the poet says the sparkling waves. Why he uses the word sparkling waves? Spark କେତେବେଳେ କରେ water? ଯେତେବେଳେ ସୂର୍ଯ୍ୟ ରଶ୍ମି ତା ଉପରେ ପଡେ. Okay? The dancing water is less effective than the dancing flower according to the poet. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. Such a jocund company. Jocund means happy. Company. Here poet gets the company of flower, company of dancing water. That means poet is in a search of happiness. How a person get happiness? When he remain alone, or when he is surrounded with the company of his friend, relative, siblings, etc. In a group, we get pleasure, we get happiness, because human being is a social animal. We love to remain in society. We love to remain in group. When we experience some sorrow, suffering, then we love to remain in isolation. So likewise, poet is in a quest of happiness to soothe his heart, to fill his heart with happiness. Okay? In such a jocund company, here jocund company refers to the company of the nature, or we can say that company of daffodil, company of dancing water. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Little thought. That particular phrase refers to thoughtless. Abak he jiva. I gazed and gazed, gazed and gazed. The poet uses the particular word twice. Gazed and gazed. That means ଏକ ଲୟରେ ଚାହିଁବା. ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ଉପରେ ଦୃଷ୍ଟି ଶକ୍ତିକୁ completely focused କରିଦେବା. I gazed and gazed but little thought. ବେଳେବେଳେ ଆମର ଅବସ୍ଥା ହୁଏ କି ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷକୁ ଚାହିଁକି ରହିଯାଉ, ଅବାକ୍ ହେଇଯାଉ. କବି ତ ଏମିତି ଦୁଃଖରେ ବୁଲୁଥିଲେ, ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଖୁସିର ମୁହୂର୍ତ୍ତ ଦେଖିଲେ, ଖୁସିମୟ କମ୍ପାନୀ ଦେଖିଲେ, ହଠାତ୍ ସେ ଅବାକ୍ ହେଇଗଲେ. ତାଙ୍କର ଚିନ୍ତାଧାରା କାମ କରିବା ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦେଲା. What wealth the show to me had brought. He considered wealth. to his happiness. And this line, what wealth the show to me had brought, this line is also loaded with a figure of speech that is metaphor. Here wealth refers to the happiness that he get by seeing, by experiencing the state of nature. What wealth the show to me had brought. That means poet was in search of a happiness. That happiness, he told, he compared with wealth. Suddenly when he found that he was surrounded with a jolly mood of nature, he feels that a type of wealth he enjoys, a type of wealth he gets. That wealth is his happiness. Next to come to the last stanza or most important stanza of the poem. For often when on my couch I lie in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure feel and dances with the daffodil. For oft means often, many a times, anek samayare, when on my couch I lie. Couch means resting place. We can say that bed. To eଠି କବି କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେତେବେଳେ ମୁଁ ମୋ ବେଡରେ ଶୋଇଥାଏ କୋଉ ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ ଥାନ୍ତି in vacant or in pensive mode. Vacant means ଯେତେବେଳେ ତାଙ୍କର ମାଇଣ୍ଡଟା completely thoughtless ଥାଏ, କୌଣସି ଚିନ୍ତାଧାରା ତାଙ୍କ ମାଇଣ୍ଡରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ନଥାଏ, or in pensive mode, or when he was loaded with the pain in his heart, or we can say that when he was waiting for his sleep. That time the moment of the dancing moment of nature, the dancing moment of flower, they come as a flashback in his mind. They flash upon that inward eye. Inward eye doesn't refers to that our two eyes. Inward eye represent or refers to the mind's eye. The mind's eye. जो आँखि द्वारा आमे गोटे जगह न थाई कि भी से जगह को देखी पारू. So that eye is represent as, refer as the inward eye. They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. Bliss of solitude. It is a paradox. Bliss of solitude. This line is an example of paradox. Paradox. कहाँ को कहा जाए? Paradox is a figure of speech in which we get two contradictory ideas are written together. For example, we can say that sweet pain, carefully careless, deadly beautiful. So these are an example of what? Paradox. Bliss of solitude. Bliss means happiness. Solitude means loneliness, isolation. तो कौनसी व्यक्ति एकांतरे रही कि केबे खुशी पाई पारे ना, किंतु एटी पोएट एकांतरे रही कि भी खुशी पाउछंती. How? The poet says that they are the cause of my happiness in my isolation. When he was alone, when he was waiting for his sleep in his couch, in his resting place, that time all the moment what he has enjoyed while wandering alone in the valleys or near the lake, near the beautiful host of flower, they all come back as a flash in his mind. He recollected all the moment one by one. Okay, and he get immense pleasure by recollecting, by reflecting all the moment. They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure feel and dances with that daffodil. Then my heart with pleasure feel by recollecting, by reflecting all the incident. He found himself as a happy man in the earth. And what he get? His heart filled with happiness after recollecting the moment of dancing nature. And my heart with pleasure fill and dances with the daffodil. When he was in the home, when he was in his couch, when he was in his bed, after recollecting, after recounting the flashback, his heart with the pleasure feel, and he, or we can say that his heart started a dance with the memory of the daffodil. The last two lines represent that poet's mood, and poet's heart is filled with happiness. First line, remember the first line. The very first line is an indication of his sorrow, suffering and his painful state. But the last line indicates that his mood was completely changed from sadness to the happiness. And this is the characteristics of Wordsworthian poetry. That the last two lines, the ending line, reflects the happiness. And this is all about the beautiful poem Daffodil, written by William Wordsworth. Thank you, my dear student.